clean as it could, but man, it is getting down the track. I'm taking the red, white, and blue helmet. Just right along with the car. It's not running as clean as it could, but man, it is getting down the track much better than it has all the rest of it. Alright, we'll turn the music down. I apologize for that.
Jeffro from Two Hacks Garage. Well, look at all that fun drag racing. Sure did look like a whole lot of fun. You know what? That's the first time this 521 cubic inch Holley equipped big block Ford 1968 Thunderbird has been on the track. Actually, I'm going to call it a success. Kind of. You've already seen the thumbnail. Why was it a success? Well, one of the biggest reasons was, first pass, this thing pulled the front end off the ground. I ran in the 7s. Yeah, I had some ignition stuff going on, a little bit of chassis suspension tuning I really need to do. But you know what? I think I've got some of that figured out and got more parts for that. Overall, ran good. Like I said, ran in the 7s, had a whole lot of fun. It's getting traction kind of where it needs it, but in some cases, I'm not getting traction where I need it. But that's not what this video is all about. While that all looked fun and it looked exciting, wheels up, burnouts, loud, exciting, look at the thumbnail. Yep, I broke. In fact, I broke in a way I kind of didn't think what was going to happen. I fried a starter. This car here, it makes a whole lot of cylinder pressure. It's got a whole lot of rotating mass to crank over. I was hot lapping it. I was getting in a hurry. I had some match races set up, some grudge races set up. Result of that, well, guess what, guys? I fried a starter when I was about ready to go on my third round against NSB Customs to settle our match race. And poof, there it goes. Fried. I was done. Absolutely done for the weekend. I didn't let that get me down. Went and watched some drag racing with some friends, hung out with my son and my dad, ate a cheeseburger, ultimately had a really good time. That being said, it was my fault. Did I use a real high quality starter? No, it was kind of an off-brand one. I thought it would work. It didn't. So it's important when you're building a car like this, with an engine like this that's got a lot of compression, a lot of cylinder pressure, a lot of rotating mass to crank over, you choose the right one first. Or you'll be like me, with your car broken, hanging out with your friends watching drag racing instead of drag racing your friends. So what did I do? Well, I called my buddies at Holley. They hooked me up, talked to them what I needed to get. They suggested an MSD starter. We're going to go check that out here in a minute. But you know what? After looking at it compared to the one I currently have that's still sitting in the car fried, this one's a whole lot better. So what we're going to do is we're going to go see what this starter has to offer over my old one that's sitting in my car fried. See you in a few seconds. All right, well, what do we have here? Well, we have an MSD Dyna Force starter. This is made for the big block Ford and some other Ford applications. This can be found on Holley's website, and I'll actually put a link in the description below. Extreme torque, blueprinted for precision, adjustable billet mount, dyno tested performance. That all sounds great in theory, right? Well, I tell you what, guys, let's flip this over and see what that actually means and why that matters. Here's the reasons I went with this. Gear reduction of 4.4 to 1 improves torque for powerful cranking. Like I said, whole lot of rotating mass. I have a lot of compression, a lot of cylinder pressure. That's very much needed. 3.4 horsepower motor. Well, guess what? That's quite a bit of horsepower for this little motor to be spinning that engine, but that's what I need. Dual roller bearing support for the armature. That's key right there. Having that right there is a nice friction-free source for that thing to spin, kind of not let all that heat build up, fry it, you name it. That's a big key right there to this. And here's a big factor for me. I'm making about 11.25 to 1 compression. This one here easily spins up to 18 to 1 compression engines. That's pretty impressive. Let's open it up and check out what we got. They always package stuff pretty nice. Got the starter. We've got instructions. Pretty good. So, you know what? We're going to move this box out of the way. We're going to take a look here. As you can see, it's very well built. Nice heavy duty, nice solenoid, big terminal for everything, nice lugs. Looks like a pretty solid unit, and to be honest with you guys, I haven't taken the old one out. I'll show you the old one, kind of comparison to this. But you know what? You can tell just by looking at this, it's quality built. So once again, Holley hooked me up with the parts that I should have originally started with. That's why it's important to use quality parts up front. Or, like I said, you could be like me, sitting and watching your friends drag race instead of drag racing with your friends. With that, guys, let's get the old one out. Let's get this new one in. See you in a little bit. All right, so Mad Dog Kenny is here. He's going to assist in removing the old starter and installing a new one. I do realize I do have a cutoff switch on this for the main power, but just to be safe with Kenny, to make sure nothing gets shocked, that would be a bad situation we don't want to happen, we went ahead and removed the negative terminal. So there is no chance of this thing actually sparking, anything like that, getting anybody hurt. Safety first. You know, maybe, sometimes. But in this case, yeah, safety first. See you in a few. All right, so we're underneath the car, and just going to point some stuff out, what needs to be removed here. It's actually pretty simple. What you got here is you got your main terminal that comes off the battery, actually to the solenoid, and from the battery, to the solenoid, from the solenoid to the starter, and you got your jumper wire. Well, the jumper wire is going to stay because we're going to replace that. So really, it's just this wire here, and there's two 12 points up here, and this thing comes off. So we're going to go ahead and work on that and get that out, and what we're going to do then is we're going to compare the two wires. But if you notice, this wire is pretty darn charred, so yeah, it obviously got hot, and we're going to have to fix that too. See you in a few. All right, well, we got the old one out. We did notice when we were taking it off, the lead wire from the solenoid to the actual starter was absolutely fried and cooked. That's how hot it got. One thing I did notice between the two, if you look, the actual motor on this thing is a lot bigger than this one. This just seems a little bit, if you want to say, like stamped, kind of cheap, cheesy, lightweight compared to this one that's very heavyweight. So the actual solenoid on this, it's actually a lot more heavy duty than this one. It's just small one that's inside this housing. But if you look here, this thing's got a lot of slop in it, and the new one does not. Overall, you can tell the machining on the new one versus the old one, it's a lot better. So yeah, the actual motor on this is a lot bigger. Everything's a lot more durable, more heavier duty, more horsepower. It's going to be rated better for this. Like I said, 18-to-1 compression this thing spins over. So we're going to get to work to get that wire fixed, get this thing back in there, and give it a shot. So yeah, we'll see you in a few. All right, well, you saw us install it and you saw us take it back off. Well, the problem is, if you look at the old starter, this is the top and this is the bottom. And it does matter because on a Ford, the top is threaded here and on the bottom it's not. So if you look here, you have where solenoid is. This is where the wire goes to. When we put this one on, well, if you look here, this is the top and this is the bottom. Your solenoid's on top. This was all really close to the exhaust header. So one nice thing about this MSD Dyna Force, this is clockable. You have a bolt here, and one on the back. So all you do is you take those loose and you put it in position where you need it. So that's what we're going to do now, and we're going to put it right back in. See you in a few. All right, well, as you can see, we went ahead and reoriented that. Before, the solenoid was on top. Like I said, this was the top, bottom, top, bottom. So now we have the solenoid just like this one where it's on the bottom, which just gives us a lot better routing for our main power wire instead of being towards the top where it was close to the exhaust header. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this in. Like I said, it's only 3 bolts. It's quick to do. Literally took us a minute. Nice feature on this. See you in a few. All right, we got it in. Here's our test. There we go. She works. Well, that was test 1. You saw how quick that spun. Now you can see it from the other side. Eddie, light her off. Well, there you have it, guys. Holley came through. That MSD Dyna Force starter, you heard it, spun it over with ease. This car's never done that. It's always seemed to struggle on start. That ended up biting me in the butt at the No Name Nationals. I wasn't able to drag race. Like I said, I still had fun. But in all reality, that's the starter I should have had up front. So when you're doing engines and you're doing high performance stuff that's got a lot of cylinder pressure, compression, you name it, you really need to buy the quality product first. So you don't get stung, you don't get bit, and you don't get sidelined. With that, guys, I need to do a whole lot of cleaning up on it. I'm very happy with this starter. Got to see my friends, Kenny, John, and Eddie. They came out and helped. We got it all done. And as you saw in that video, this MSD starter has a capability to clock it different ways. So that really helped out too with the header clearance on this. With that, guys, you're going to see some more videos coming down the road on some other improvements I have. And then some of the videos I watch from drag racing, I'm unloading the back tires as soon as the front tires come off the ground. You're going to see a video on how I'm going to fix that. Maybe we get to test it, maybe not. But like I said, guys, MSD, Works awesome. Quality part. It's going to last. Knock on wood. Videos coming soon on more improvements. Hope you enjoyed this. Tell you what, guys, I got to go clean up. I'm tired. Still got to eat. Got to make sure the son's doing his homework. Catch you next time.